Hey, we have started.
Okay.
So we could talk about everything chronologically because I think Kingdom Come is going to be the first one on the album, and it's the name of the album. So the thing that stands out is that when we were trying to come up with a album project for the last one, it was actually Power that Kingdom Come was first pitched, because I was putting those ideas together, and I sent the chorus and the verse. I still have that recording too, first verse and chorus, and I sent it to everybody, and they're like, "No, we don't like that." So I was like, "Okay, well that's it." And so we recorded the entire album for Power and everything that went with that. But then years later, we were coming back to it, and everybody said, "Okay," because whenever we do a CD project.
Okay, so wait, that's the key. It's years later. See,
it is years later.
Matured more, so then we like.
Well,
no.
To be fair,
I didn't really change it that much. I just
to be fair, there was some editing and some changes that.
To be fair, we were needing 8 original songs right away, and that's why you guys revisited it.
Well, and whenever a new project is coming out, everybody who writes songs, like, it's not always to the songwriters, but it's, what are you guys listening to? It's just trying to get our heads together and see if a particular theme emerges. So yeah, I changed 1 or 2 things. I said, "Hey, here's one that you guys didn't like. Do you like it now?" And I was like, "Yeah, we like that." I'm like, so wonderful. So
yeah,
me
actually,
and
we put a lot of prayer into what we're doing, and it really, Power was not the project for that song, even if we had liked it in its state that it's in now. But really, that song fits the whole theme of this project that we have just put together, and it's God's timing. So I'm excited about that.
Speaking of needing really 8 original songs, there are 8 original songs on the album.
There are 8 songs plus 2.
Plus
2.
Plus 2.
So I didn't want anybody to
8
think,
originals,
Yeah.
So lots of songwriters in the family, lots of new songwriters on this album that have not been on previous albums.
But it is 8 plus 2 though.
8 plus 2.
Say that because whenever
songs on the project.
Because whenever we did Vocal Experience, there were only 8 songs, and everybody's like, "Where's the rest of them?" Like, 8 is enough.
Huh?
8 is enough. Yeah.
So Danielle's a songwriter on this album.
Yeah, well, kind of. I co-wrote one. It was kind of an accident. Like, I just wrote it in the shower. Just this chorus popped into my head.
You always hear about people singing in the shower.
It's funny because we recorded it in the shower.
Write songs in the shower, but Danielle has done it.
Yeah, just a couple of words, a little bouncy chorus popped in my head, so I thought I'd throw it out there, see what people thought of it, and they actually liked it.
I know. I remember
the overachiever.
You got out of the shower, you came to me, and you're like, "Hey,
what do you think of this?"
What do you think of this? And I was like, "That's catchy. I like it."
Yeah.
How did we get to the point where Christian did the main vocals for it? Because whenever we were doing the tracking session, we're there singing what's called a scratch vocal. So you kind of sing along as the instrumentalists are playing. We're not going to use that track, but it's just for their benefit to see where you're going to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just you're just kind of holding up the words and kind of randomly just singing it, and sometimes you make mistakes. But it was really during the tracking session that we start to determine, like, okay, maybe this is who needs to sing on that song. Like, I remember I was going to sing on Kingdom Come, and that was not going to work. It was way too high, and that's why ultimately I went with Danielle. And then other songs, you just stepped in and do it.
Right, so, but before the tracking session was the vocal arranging session, and I think that might be
that's
where
even
it was
farther back.
determined.
Yeah,
that might be where it was determined Christian would sing that song, because we all just kind of, you play around with a theme, and like if you're gonna sing a song about a man, then a woman doesn't really need to sing that. I don't know that we have one like that on the album, but you know what I'm saying? Like the words, you look at the words and do they fit the person and all
John
of that.
Rousey did a really good job of helping us to arrange the songs, find a good key that kind of fit everybody's voices. And so when you're writing a song, you might have a particular voice or a person in mind, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that particular person or that voice that sings it, but that's just what you're thinking when you're writing.
Yeah.
And whenever it goes through the process and you get to the vocal arranger and what he's able to contribute to the project, then it starts to take a little bit more of a shape and a form of what the final is going to begin to sound like.
You know?
Yeah, and I think
So-
folks that are even watching right now can identify with this. If you sing in
Are
church,
people watching right now?
there may be some people watching, but if they're watching right now, they can identify with this, because if they sing songs in church, there are certain songs that you sing that really doesn't fit your voice to sing the melody part. So it might get real high, and then you're just trying to look for a different note whenever it gets to that high part, and just try to blend in with everybody else. So it's really not a song that fits your voice for singing over and over again. So
I didn't realize people were watching. I mean,
that's kind of
we're
the way-
technically in the back of the bus right now. This is like most people don't know that this is what the back of the bus looks
Well,
like.
if nobody
more
is watching,
spacious
I
than you
think we
thought.
should stop what we're doing,
knew we
because
had a
this is
back?
a
No,
complete waste of
The
time.
engine block is
okay.
behind the
Baptistry? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, we do
Yeah.
baptisms behind,
Fairly
behind the bus.
frequently.
Yeah, you'd think
That
it would all be locked in by that point. That by the time you get to the studio to record, the song is not
You'd
going to
think so.
change. But sometimes you're like,
You get in there and you start singing and you go, I don't like that lyric. It just it doesn't land right, doesn't sound right. And so actually on one of our songs, our producer and Todd were outside the studio rewriting the verse real quick while we're in recording some of the other parts of the song.
yeah,
Yeah, well, that was during vocal recording, but even in the tracking sessions, we'd get to the end of a song after they had received them, and then you're like trying to put some finishing touches on it, and then for instance, the song "I Confess Jesus is Lord." I was like, what would it be like to try to end this thing by taking it from the one and go to like a relative minor and then bring it back up again. So I'm trying to explain to them what I'm thinking, and the whole time I'm trying to sing it to them, they're just writing down these numbers, and then they're passing it around, and then they go over there and they lay it down, and we're done. And it was just incredible. So
Yeah.
that was awesome.
and I mean speaking of that, that's one of the neat things about working with Matt Browder. I remember one of them was Kingdom Come. He was thinking about the opening. We wanted it to open big. I mean, it opens the project, it's the beginning of the song, and the song itself is supposed to be big. And so between Matt and John Rousey and some of our, other input, we did put together, 'cause we're listening to these really talented musicians, and we don't want to just relegate them to, the background. So like that, can we have a few seconds where they can just really play? And so I think Kingdom Come opens with a 25-30 second intro of just instrumentalists where they're going at it, and then we added more instruments on top of that, basically an entire orchestra. I don't know how many pieces
Yeah.
it was,
It's
but
big though. It was really big.
it's a cool way to start the song. It's a cool way to start the project, to kind of instead of coming out singing right from the first note, to kind of give it time to breathe and build anticipation and then really go into it. Yeah. I was happy with how it came out.